Every day on this channel, I go through everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And today, Elon announced that the Robotaxi app is now available for download. You can download it in the United States to join the waitlist. And I guess everyone's trying to join the waitlist because the Tesla Robotaxi app is now the #1 app in the travel category on the App Store. Michael Bertino downloaded the app and got on the waitlist and into his first ride within 2 hours. He said, unfortunately, it was supervised with someone in the driver's seat, but it's still cool. Elon replied saying, the safety driver is just there for the first few months to be extra safe. Should be no safety driver by the end of the year. And Elon congratulated Tesla Energy on 1 million Powerwalls installed worldwide. Powerwall reduces your reliance on the grid, something generators can't do. Power your home with clean energy, save money, and keep the grid as your plan B. And Elon said, please reply to this post with any difficulties you may have had in trying to buy a Tesla. Our goal is for the purchase and delivery experience to be fast and simple with accurate answers to your questions. The key test is that you would recommend it to a friend. And Andrew Sorkin says, I often think about this exchange I had with Elon. What would have happened if history had bent just slightly differently? I can't show the video due to copyright, but in the video, Elon talks about how GM only sold 26 vehicles in the same quarter that Tesla sold 300,000, and yet Biden went on stage at the EV summit and declared GM the leader, and he didn't invite Elon and Tesla to the EV summit at all. So Andrew's saying, I wonder what would have happened if they did invite Elon and Tesla and paid respect. Elon says, I try not to start fights, but I do finish them. And this X user says, this Tesla Master Plan Part 4 doesn't feel written by Elon at all. Part 1 was so clear, simple, elegant. The quantity of M-dashes and genericness feels like it was written by AI. And Rune says it sucks complete ass. And Elon has a laugh at that one. And to add context here, he knows people are upset about it, and a few days ago he said he would add more specifics to the Tesla Master Plan. And some good progress by the Neuralink team. They just completed 2 surgeries in Canada, their first procedures outside of the United States. This marks an important step towards bringing their technology to more people around the world. Elon replied to that saying they're aiming to restore limited sight to the completely blind next year. And Grok Code is now seeing more usage on Open Router than all others combined. They have 52.8% of the coding traffic. Andre Jacobson says, let the numbers speak for themselves. And Elon says, step 1, buy a shitload of GPUs. Step 2, I don't know. Step 3, profit. So Fred's Farm says, Grok, explain what he is trying to tell us. Grok says that Elon's post is a nod to the South Park Underpants Gnomes meme, where their plan is, number 1, collect underpants. Number 2, I don't know. Number 3, profit. And Elon has a laugh at this one saying, bingo. So Flying Mugen said, please provide a complete business plan for the above with full details of the missing question mark step. So Grok said, here's a tongue-in-cheek business plan inspired by the Underpants Gnomes, adapted for AI. Buy a shitload of GPUs, train massive AI models on them, and then profit. And Grok added a disclaimer that actual success requires talent, data, and luck. Belota says, I think this is incorrect. Step 2 is what? Grok says that step 2 should remain a mystery to honor the meme. And Elon says that that's fire. And the CEO of AMD says, proud to be at the White House today. I'm attending the AI Education Task Force meeting led by FLOTUS, or the First Lady of the United States. AMD is proud to expand our commitment to AI education through new AI learning labs and open source courses that will give students, educators, and researchers hands-on experience with AI hardware and software for education, skills training, and research. We are excited to do our part to train and enable the future AI workforce, and Elon reposted this. The CEO of Microsoft said AI is the defining technology of our time, and how we empower people to use it will shape our nation's future. Thank you to Trump and the First Lady for making this a national priority. At Microsoft, we're committed to doing our part, with new initiatives to empower teachers and students with the latest AI tools, build AI skills, and create economic opportunity. And others in attendance was Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, Google CEO Sundar, Bill Gates. Natalie says, Bill Gates, but not Elon Musk. What the f***? And Elon replied saying, I was invited, but unfortunately could not attend. A representative of mine will be there. And Google CEO says, introducing embedding Gemma, our newest open model that can run completely on device. It's the top model under 500 million parameters on the massive text embedding benchmark, and comparable to models nearly twice its size, enabling state-of-the-art embeddings for search, retrieval, and more. And Elon says that's impressive. And Anthropic says we've raised $13 billion at a $183 billion post-money valuation. Theo says, hey Grok, how many GPUs can you buy with $13 billion? And Sri replies saying, hey Grok, how much will a newly designed butthole logo cost for Anthropic? And Elon has a laugh at that one. And today Donald Trump had some words for Elon Musk.
Well, I don't think he has a choice. So what's he going to do? He's going to go with the radical left lunatics? You know, they're lunatics. I don't think he has a choice. He's a man of common sense. He's a good man. He got off the reservation incorrectly, and that's okay because, you know, it's just one of those things. But he's a good person. He's got, 80% super genius, and then 20% he's got some problem. And when he works out the 20%, he'll be great. But he's got some difficulty, but I liked him. I always like him. I like him now. But he went off the reservation, and he wished he didn't do it.
So Elon replied to that saying, a fair assessment. And today Grok got a new app update. And Wall Street Mav compares the For You section to the following section on X. For You is clickbait junk, and following is simply newest posts of people that I follow. I think what I want to see is the best posts from the people I follow from the past 6 to 12 hours. I don't want just the most recent, which might not be good. I want an algorithm that shows me their content that is performing strongly. Does that make sense? And Elon says, noted. And Elon says that no AI was used to create this photo. And Starlink will provide high-speed internet even in the most remote locations. And the SpaceX Dragon cargo spacecraft completed an initial burn on Wednesday, testing the spacecraft's new capability to help maintain the altitude of the orbital outpost. And here's the most expensive military aircraft in the world. The B-2 Spirit bomber costs $2.1 billion and features cutting-edge technology. Elon says unfortunately it is an easy target for modern missiles that use AI vision for targeting. The stealth part only works on old radar systems that would not be used by an advanced adversary. Also, you can easily see the heat trail it leaves in the sky with an infrared camera, which sticks out like a laser beam. Long-range hypersonic drones and missiles are what matter. And China may be using the sea to hide its submarines. Elon says, great idea. And Adrian Dittman says the 21st century is largely devoid of true philosophers. And Elon says that Rudyard Lynch has potential. Macro Hard says none can beat Douglas Adams, and Elon replies saying he's the best. Thomas Sowell once said you will never understand bureaucracies until you understand that for bureaucrats procedure is everything and outcomes are nothing. And Elon reposted this. And the real Donald Trump account posted this animation of himself in the new Cracker Barrel logo, and Elon had a laugh at that one. And this is a treasure. Look at the art that is done on the side of this book. It is a book called The Lord of the Rings. You might have heard of it. There's Gandalf. It looks wonderful. And you might say it's offensive for a man to say he's a woman. Maya quotes the saying that a man is not offensive. Men muscling into women's toilets and changing rooms and then trying to get women fired for misgendering is. And Elon agrees. And on his first day as leader of the Green Party, Zach Polanski has gone on the radio to say that people should not be allowed to say that they want to kick a woman in the balls. Billy says, women don't have testicles, Zach, you ridiculous f***ing clown. And Elon has a laugh at that one. And after news of another violent act committed by a trans-identified male, Elon says that something is seriously wrong. Trans sex hormone drugs are driving extreme violence and should be banned. And Tucker Carlson says, I just feel like they've been so cruel to whites for so long. I think there is a crazy backlash coming, a well-deserved backlash. And Elon says, big time. And Elon posted this video from Piers Morgan Uncensored.
People are done with the trans thing. They've had enough of it. This whole they're just kind of regular people like you and me, but happen to dress up like no, that's not really what's going on. You've unleashed an entire fleet of mentally ill lunatics on the public, and now we have to deal with the fallout of it. We have to deal with having to deal with these people on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people are sick of it. This guy is just echoing the thing which is in a lot of our minds, which is that, hey, we're kind of tired of these mentally ill lunatics on our streets. We really are.
And on this episode of The Good Doctor, a transgender man discovers he is pregnant due to a prolactinoma. It's a tumor that produces the hormone prolactin, which can mimic pregnancy symptoms. This scenario is medically possible, but it's rare. And in some cases, it can lead to pregnancy in transgender men. So Elon responds to saying, that was a real show. And Brandy says, good luck opting your child out. The state's largest school district, Seattle, says parents are forbidden from opting their own children out of lessons about gender and sexuality. And Elon quotes that with 2 exclamation marks. And Reddit Live says mentioning Young Blood, a member of the trans terror cult called Ziz, and how they are facing the death penalty for the murder of a border patrol agent results in instant downvotes. And Elon reposted this. And Matt Walsh says, remember folks, white South Africans don't belong in South Africa even after 400 years. White Americans are invaders in America even after 500 years. But the third world illegal migrant who got here last Tuesday is just as American as anyone else, and if you call him an invader, you're racist. And Elon reposted this. And here's Elon, and there he is saying what we all are thinking. And he said to long press to animate any image with Grok, and there's the grenade he dropped, blowing up. And the alleged would-be Trump assassin, Ryan Ruth, wanted to call a sexual partner as a character witness. The unnamed lover would apparently attest to Ruth's peacefulness because he refused to spank her ass. Judge Cannon refused his request, calling it a farce. Mike Benn said on a DC jury that might actually work, and Elon had to laugh at that one. And Nick Sorter says Robert Kennedy Jr. just absolutely eviscerated Democrat Senator Ron Wyden. And the confrontation I'm about to show you is part of a larger narrative where Kennedy's policies, including the firing of the disease control director recently and cuts to vaccine funding, have led to significant backlash.
Enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I get a reply? Or, Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
I'm going to let Senator Wyden respond briefly to that, and then we're not going to go over like we just did.
And Elon reposted that. And he also reposted that they are hiring at the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice. If you are fearless, principled, competent, have practiced law for some time, and are dedicated to enforcing our federal civil rights laws, we want you. And Kaizen says rather than pulling the race card, Mayor Brandon Johnson should produce results. He has the lowest approval in modern Chicago history, including among black people. Crime is still rampant. Incompetent politicians deflect to race when they can't defend their results. And Turning Point UK says we are fed up with people always trying to talk our country down. Enough is enough. If this isn't distracting, it's a pride flag painted on the crosswalk, then this isn't distracting either. The St. George's flag painted on roundabouts. Elon says instead of the police in the UK protecting the public from violent criminals, they spend their limited resources on arresting comedians for social media posts. Shame, and give them the white feather of craven cowardice. And Elon's referencing Graham Linehan, who got arrested. He's a comedy writer. And he wrote some things about trans people that got him arrested at Heathrow Airport when he landed in the UK. So Hazel posts a thread of some of the most unhinged tweets from trans activists. I wonder how many of them got arrested, and Elon reposted the thread. James says Joe Brand joked about throwing acid on Nigel Farage. No arrest. Wes Streeting posted about wanting to push a Daily Mail columnist in front of a train. No arrest. Multiple attendees to Pride this year held signs reading, "Punch a turf." No arrest. Two-tier justice. And Elon reposted this. J.K. Rowling writes in defense of women and gets several hateful messages sent to her. Graham Linehan stands up for her and other women, and he has 5 officers come to the airport to arrest him. Elon says it's unjust. And Elon reposted James's fiery debate with an opponent of free speech who believes it was right that Graham Linehan was arrested. It's 17 minutes long, so I'll put the link in the description. John Cleese says, I see that it took 5 London policemen to arrest a comedian. Meanwhile, people in Chelsea have learned not to waste their time reporting burglaries. Is this an intelligent use of resources? Elon says, indeed. And Graham Linehan is to sue the Metropolitan Police over the trans tweet arrest, and Elon says, good. Somebody else broke the same news, and Elon again said, good. And news broke that Jess Phillips, the Minister for Safeguarding Girls, has admitted in Parliament that she had prior knowledge of survivors being raped by police officers in grooming gangs. She said, I would be lying if I said that over the years I have not met girls who talked to me about how police were part of the perpetration, not just the cover-up. And despite her prior knowledge, Jess Phillips campaigned against a national inquiry into the Pakistani rape gangs. This changes everything. Phillips has known that police officers were members of the grooming gangs and raped children. Not only did she keep this information secret, she also campaigned against a national inquiry that could have exposed it. Take a moment to appreciate the ramifications of Jess Phillips' confession. The minister responsible for safeguarding girls admitted survivors told her police officers were rapists. She chose to protect the system instead of the victims. That is not failure, that is betrayal. And this information only came out because of relentless pressure from opposition, members of parliament, and campaigners. Without that pressure, it would still be buried. Jess Phillips knew. She didn't just stay silent, she helped block scrutiny. The grooming gang scandal is no longer about police failings. It is now about state complicity in child rape. Now explain to me, why has not one single mainstream news agency run with Jess Phillips' confession in Parliament? And Elon quoted that saying, according to Phillips, some members of the police in the UK participated in the gang rapes of children. Have they been prosecuted? The Immortal responded to it with a cartoon. It's the media telling ex-users to mind their own business while they cover up the UK scandal. The ex-user pulls back the blanket saying, because no one else is speaking up. And Elon replies saying, no more hiding this horrific scandal. And he says, and why did Jess Phillips try to block this official inquiry? She should resign in shame. And the weird creep who is harassing this girl ended up getting arrested. And he has now been charged by Police Scotland with assaulting a minor. An apology is due to these little girls for the lies that were told about them, as a lot of people were arguing about whether it was right for her to be carrying 2 weapons to defend herself. But in response to the guy getting charged, Elon says, good. And the illegal migrant whose crimes started the Epping protests has been found guilty. Elon said prison, followed by immediate deportation. And the Telegraph writes, Sir Mark Rowley says that the forces are in an impossible position after the arrest over the Graham Linehan over-gender-critical tweet. Suella says there's a pattern here. The Met chief refused to intervene and arrest pro-Palestinian marchers who were shouting anti-Semitic chants and harassing members of the public on a regular basis. He blamed the law, but he says he has no choice but to arrest someone over a gender-critical tweet, even though I made clear in guidance that such language was entirely lawful, a view which has been upheld by the Supreme Court. The Met chief has chosen a side in the culture wars, and it's not the side of the patriotic majority. As I said last year, he has to go. Elon quoted that saying he should have been fired long ago. And Lily Allen and Ellie Goulding say that flying flags is only acceptable during football tournaments. They also claim the migrant hotel protests made them embarrassed to be British. Elon said shame on those two for being child rapist apologists. And Tommy Robinson says no caption necessary, as South Yorkshire police gave no arrest deal to Rotherham grooming gang ringleader, while a teenager who waved the England flag near North Yorkshire Islamic Centre was jailed. So Elon quotes that saying two-tier justice in the UK. And Prime Minister Starmer attacked Farage for being unpatriotic and telling the Americans about Labour's authoritarian Britain. He calls Farage a disgrace. I'll tell you what's a disgrace. 3,000 people a year arrested for social media posts, 7 times more than Russia. And Elon says exactly. There's outrage in the UK as police officers are now targeting 11-year-old kids seen out in public wearing an English flag. The UK has fallen, and Elon responds with 2 exclamation marks. And Prime Minister Starmer says, I won't shy away from decisions to protect kids, even if there are the predictable cries of nanny state. We are stopping shops from selling high caffeine energy drinks to under 16s, so they can turn up to school ready to learn. Mike Lee says, so, the UK government is more willing to protect kids from caffeine than sexual assault? And Elon says, yeah. Ben says Britain's free speech nightmare is shocking Americans. It's all they are talking about. Ben Shapiro on Fox News just now, he said, grooming gangs, knife crime, importing Middle East migrants, free speech. This is what it looks like when a civilization decides to hollow itself out. Elon quoted it saying, complete abdication of their responsibility to the welfare of the people by the UK authorities. And Tommy Robinson says the Muslim Brotherhood is banned by Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the UAE, the list goes on. Yet the UK allows it. They must be banned. They are the route to all Islamic terrorism across the world. Ban the Muslim Brotherhood. And Elon reposted it. And Ant Middleton's running for mayor in London. September 13th, be there. He says, I'll be speaking about one of the most important issues facing our city, safety and security in London. This is about more than words. It's about regaining trust, restoring British values, and returning strength to our capital city. And Elon reposted it. And back to the US, Matt Van Swole says we have a serious problem here in Asheville, North Carolina. The county is about to spend $2.9 million in taxpayer funds on racial reparations. I took a deep dive into the 170-page report, and what I found is terrifying. Buckle up because you're not going to believe this. First up is a race-targeted housing policy. The plan explicitly calls to sustain and expand rates of black home ownership with targeted funding only for the black populations over 3 years. Literally a program that allocates benefits by race alone. A clear violation of the 14th Amendment in writing. If you are a poor white, Latino, or Asian or any other race but black, tough luck, you don't get the money. You thought that was bad? Just wait. Look at what they want to do for healthcare. One of the recommendations includes a free transportation service only for expectant black mothers. What about expectant white, Latino, or Asian mamas? This money isn't for you, but you pay for it. The report is furious that only 14% of total community development block grants were awarded to black-led nonprofits, when less than 10% of the population of Asheville, North Carolina is black. To eliminate the disparity, the report recommends a black chamber of commerce. Could you imagine calling for the establishment of a white chamber of commerce? No, you couldn't. Furthermore, government entities will support them through procurement and grant funding. What about hiring? Well, there's a brand new policy. It is called the No Diverse Finalist Policy. Too long didn't read. If there are no diverse candidates, the chair must justify this to HR. This is a real policy they want implemented. You thought DEI went away? Guess again. If you are a manager at the city of Asheville, they want you to take a mandatory, can't get out of it, DEI training course. Want to be a police officer in Buncombe County? Well, you've got to take implicit bias awareness training. Refuse, you are fired. You thought it just had to do with adults? No, they want to create direct incentives to treat students differently by race, including tying it to school funding. It explicitly calls for school funding to be linked to racial equity metrics. This is insanity. Then, finally, they just say the quiet part out loud. A shocking admission that all they really want is more control. By having more control over funding, the Buncombe County government can implement policies to promote equity. There it is, the truth. And Elon raises an eyebrow. And Alice Weidel is with AfD in Germany, and she says if there were a state election in Saxony-Anhalt next Sunday, our AfD would be at 39% of the votes. The Christian Democratic Union would be trailing far behind at 27%. Just 1 year before the state election, it is becoming clear. One will no longer be able to govern past the AfD, not only in Saxony-Anhalt, and Elon reposted this. And Sammy Woodhouse says this disgusting headline from a Rotherham tabloid was published in 2018. Trafficked girl slept with over 100 Asian men, the headline reads. No, children did not sleep with 100 men. They were raped by hundreds of men. The media have been complicit in using victim-blaming language, and it's shameful. Elon agrees. And Elon responds to Maple Blooded, who describes a very horrific event that happened to a family. It involved murder and rape of children, and this police chief went in front of the cameras and said that your best defense is to just comply. Elon said, what? And he reposted another rape story here, and he responded with an exclamation mark to this story taking place in Ontario, Canada. It involved a home invasion, a murder, a kidnapping, and apparently he's already out on bail. And one last Grok Imagine post, Elon says, select custom to change what happens in the video and try animating multiple times to get what you're looking for. And Elon quoted Conor McGregor with the Irish flag, and Conor said that the time for real change is now.
Good morning, citizens of Ireland. I'm here today outside the office of the Taoiseach an Taoiseach, where we are over 200 days into the formation of current government. In these times, this government has cost us our peace of mind, our security, our hope for the future, and the general well-being of Irish citizens nationwide has decreased dramatically, whereby we have seen the homelessness of Irish children risen to levels unprecedented, proving this government's refusal to abide by and respect our proclamation, and where all children of Ireland are to be cherished. Instead, our children abandoned. This incompetent failure of future generations has been accompanied with an intense influx of mass migration into an already severed system. Our tourism has sharply declined, while danger on our streets has risen. Ireland, as a master of martial combat, a solution-driven man, you will hear me speak on a problem but once, then it is action towards solution. I urge all our citizens to be of the same. Today, Ireland, I am outside these gates of these appointed officials, But as your head of state, you empower me to enter these buildings on your behalf. A president face to face with government officials with only one priority: to ensure that the country our founding fathers gave their life for is strictly adhered to on behalf of its citizens. Ireland, under my tenure, the will of the people will be heard. Ireland, under my tenure, we will return important articles of our Constitution prior, and thus again aligning with Padraig Pearse's proclamation, in that we declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies, to be sovereign and indefeasible Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood. Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Elon replied that no one will fight harder for the people of Ireland than Conor McGregor, and he quoted it with 2 Irish flags. So that's everything that Elon said today. It was great to see the Robotaxi app going out to everybody in the US, and he did say that the driver would be out of the vehicle by the end of the year. And I wish he said why he couldn't attend the AI event today. I do wonder if it's because he's been such a hot topic lately and he's been involved in so much drama with all of the people that were in attendance. I would just like to know the reason that he wasn't able to attend. But I know he's a busy man. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. And if you guys want early access to these videos, or you just want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the channel as a member, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.